So here we are, waiting for the lights here in Interlagos, and hopefully we'll get off the line smoothly. Bit of wheel spin as you'd expect. Good alright start, and I beat the pole sitter. Not sure why second place gets the inside line here, but that's apparently what happens at Interlagos. Alright, so that was a surprisingly smooth start. Despite our ton of wheel spin, the guy behind us didn't go, and neither did the pole sitter, it seems. We're a bit wide here though, but held it together. So yeah, here we are in Interlagos in the 2017 F1 cars, which are released into the beta this week. After some sound issues, as you would, surprising actually how many people have problems with this version of the beta with various things. They don't include locking up the brakes. That's completely user induced and can't blame Reza for that. But anyway, this seems to be working fine for me for the moment, so we'll make advantage. I can't speak, it seems. I can lead, but I can't speak. You can do one or the other. And that's typically how a lot of these things go, is the guy behind us has a draft. Doesn't have a name, because, you know, they haven't bothered to give names to these new drivers yet. And he's going to try to go up the inside. That's very brave of him, isn't it? Also a chance to see some of the AI changes they've made to the beta. They've been messing the last few updates with the AI in the beta. So, good to see that it's having some sort of effect anyway. You know, he actually attacked. And attacked and didn't hit me either. So, we are definitely faster through that cone. And we'll go back up the inside. All very nice, all very clean. And this is the formula where you're not allowed to race, apparently. I'm going to put my hand up. I said I didn't think that anyone would be able to pass an F1 this year at all, but it turned out quite well, actually. And I've probably talked about too much. Anyway, we're not really here to talk about real life F1, but more the new cars in Automobilista based on the modern F1 cars for the new rules in 2017. And it's quite good, as you'd expect. You know, if there's one thing Reza do well, it's F1 cars. Of all years, they seem to just be able to do it, and it just turns out pretty nicely. These ones, very much as you expect, drives similar to a modern F1 car. You know, let's be honest, since any F1 car this century really drives very much the same. There's only minor details they've got to look out for, how you drive them. Yet they turn out different lap speeds, but that's the magic of how these things are built and what they do. So if you're familiar with the Formula Extreme, or say the 2015 Ferrari Instead Corsa or something similar, it drives similar. You know, you'd be used to how these V6 turbos supply power, how they work really in modern F1 car. You know, they have more downforce, and lots being said about that. Bigger tires, bigger downforce. But honestly, how you drive them doesn't really change a whole lot more. It's just every so, you know, like for example here, you brake after the 50-meter board, not on the 50-meter board. Well, disclaimer, that's my braking points. People who know what they're doing are probably braking after the 50 meter anyway. Oh, look at this cheeky bugger. Got past me and got DRS. Ooh, and well, so much for praising the AI, he just strolled. Anyway, this is before we're so rudely interrupted. Yeah, you drive them pretty much similar. It's just some places you don't brake, some brake later, and you know, it's quite similar. It seems to be a thing actually with this car and the Extreme, is that they seem to by default, the default setups have a bit of oversteer in them that you have to watch. But you can tune it out or adopt your driving style. It's not that big a deal, you know. They're still very, very grippy cars, as you'd expect. They're Formula 1 cars. Here's a demonstration of all the torque you have available thanks to the hybrid systems. There has been changes and updates in the last few patches to how the hybrids work in this car and the Formula Extreme, which is the 2014 car, so that they behave more like actual hybrids and less like incredibly powerful internal combustion engines, which is how they would be modeled, because this old engine, the simulation engine predates these engines. Well, car engines. Too many engines. Someone come up with new words, please. But yeah, so for how the hybrid system applies power hasn't been really properly done. But really I've addressed that with these cars and will be updated in the 1.4 patch that's due out soon. Still soon. I told you, Visa, it's a month late. It's going to be a month late. Don't expect it till the middle of June. But yeah, it's more in line with how the cars apply power, say, in a set course of which change these physics engines to adapt and cope with the hybrid systems so that they actually work properly. So you no longer get what you used to get with the Formula Extreme, that you had to be very careful on the throttle because it would give you all the power instantly, which is obviously undrivable. It's now a lot more realistic and a lot more drivable, and you get this sort of paradox that despite the talk in real life about these cars being so much harder to drive, in the sim world these cars are actually amongst the easiest F1 cars to drive, because what makes them hard to drive in real life doesn't apply in sims. They're hard to drive in real life because of the extra cornering force, so the G-force. You physically putting your body through a lot of acceleration. That's obviously you need to be physically fit to survive that for a long amount of time and keep the mental capacity going. And still, add on top of that, sims try their best. Modern sims get very close, especially in the likes of South Corsa, which is modeled a lot of the systems required on a hybrid racing car. But even then, to be honest, most sim races are not going to be even thinking of half the systems that a natural driver would be thinking of, because you physically can't model them. Even the ECU in your modern road car has more lines of code than any of these games that we play. So if you can imagine what it's going to be like for the likes of an F1 car, you just can't model all the systems like that really accurately, but still. Some could come quite close to applying the mental loads required, especially for driving these things fast, because still, one thing that hasn't changed about modern open wheelers is that, yes, they're easy to drive. You can drive these quite competently. It doesn't take an incredible amount of skill. It does take an incredible amount of skill to get the most out of them. Easy to drive, hard to master. And it's very much with this car. It's actually quite comfortable to drive and kind of satisfying. Well, definitely one of the more satisfying modern F1 cars I've driven in a sim. Just satisfying to drive, so it's nice. It doesn't have any major flaws, thanks to the power torque being updated to be more drivable. So that takes away the biggest flaw that Ree's always had with their hybrid F1 cars. Plenty of grip. What can you complain? There's nothing really to complain about this car. It's just nice, really. Still hard to master. It can get away from you, and get away from you quite quickly. It will punish your mistakes. Not as badly as the old cars, but it's not as easy to correct as some of the old cars either. As you see there. Small little tap, and gosh, I can't control that. Now I also got dirt on my tyres. One thing I'm not exactly sure on, I will be curious to find out, is have these tyres been updated as well, because on the face of it in Automobilista, these tyres are nearly the same as the ones that are in their 2012 car, But obviously anyone who follows F1 knows that tyres are very different from 2012 that they are in 2017. I suspect, judging by the tyre wear I've had in my few laps here, you know, in this race and in practice, that the tyres have been made harder in line with what Pirelli have done in real life. It's just another thing to keep in mind. So they've been, I guess, from what I've seen, been changing the tyres as well as the cars. Just another little thing to note that I've noticed. Having said, even with these cars that are, you know, easier to push, you know, you can push them harder, or longer and more durable. If you flat spot them, you're going to notice in these cars. I flat spotted them earlier in a practice session. It was quite violent. Like, I would not have made any more than 3 laps with it. I think the car would have survived, but I wouldn't have. The steering wheel would have come off my desk. I braked way too early there. That was like an old F1 braking. Oh, these cars. But yeah, as you probably noticed, you probably not really seen much difference to watch with these cars. It's just because, you know, even though they have more mechanical grip and air grip, it's hard to see that. There's not many places where you can noticeably see the difference. Good thing I get Interlagos, I found at least 2 places where I noticed the difference. 3 actually. First is braking to turn 1. You can brake much later in these cars than you can with the previous generation of F1 cars. Also, the long right-hander up after the next straight we're going to go through. You don't really have to brake in these cars. All other cars, you have to some slight application of the brakes or a decent lift. Here, downshift, lift, back on the power. At least it feels faster than any other F1 car I've driven through there. I know there's probably more speed in this car, but the fact is I can do that easily. In other F1 cars I would struggle to carry the same amount of speed through those corners. This one as well. Even in modern F1 cars, that corner can be kind of hairy. You know, you need a lift and you need to keep the car balanced on that downhill left-hander, but in this car, easy flash, wouldn't even notice it's a corner. And that's definitely the main difference with this car, is just getting used to the downforce that you have and getting used to the grip. It seems to be this what's happening in real life, so pretty good job, Reza. Of course, the thing is missing if you compare it to the likes of a set of Corsa, which I think still is that's still the sim you have to compare it to when it comes to hybrid racing cars. And it still doesn't have the system. You still can't change the engine maps or things like that. Not that I see, obviously. Maybe I missed it, but it's definitely something that's supposed to be coming for automobiles as we go around the outside. If anyone actually pulls that off in the Brazilian Grand Prix, I'll have to find a hat to eat, but you can do the same because, hey, fun. You know? We actually play games for fun. Yeah. Something that's supposed to be coming, maybe beginning to be integrated in the next patch, I'm not exactly sure, but I'll be quite excited to actually see how Reza do it, how they implement the hybrid systems and the turbo modeling into AMS. Oh, he's had some sort of moment going through the kink. We'll just take advantage of that. So I'm quite looking forward to that because I'm a nerd. You know, I like complicated cars that do magical stuff. So the fact that they're going to implement anything like that makes me excited because we need more of it. We need more hybrid racing cars. I'm going to get lynched for saying that, haven't I? Yeah, I'm going to get lynched badly. Oh dear. Oh well. What if we put a V12 in them? Would you like them then? Probably, actually. Except a V12 with current battery packs would be uncompetitively heavy, unfortunately. And when batteries get lighter, we can start putting V12s back into cars. Maybe power them in ethanol. I know someone is going to be triggered by that statement, but I'm going to say it anyway. Also, I believe we've taken the lead somehow, thanks to those two having a mayor. the last lap, we're now somehow in the lead. Not that it matters much, just a short little race just to show off the car. Because the thing that comes up when they add a new F1 car to home release is, even with all the DLC, we've only 4 grade 1 circuits by stock in Automobilista. Which, to be fair, that's pretty decent of them. But it just shows, again, we're really depending on modding. Because I would love to be running this car around Monaco, but the Monaco mod's shite. A lot of the others are good though, so we got that. Oh, twisted around. Ah, not enough. Nearly had it. But it shows how hard it is to catch. I think that guy either hit me or nearly hit me. And we nearly killed everyone. Now so much for me saying, well, we're back in the lead. Because we're not in the lead anymore. Good thing this doesn't matter, otherwise it would be quite salty. But it does show, even though these are bigger cars than the old ones, wider tires, wider tracks, etc., they can still snap quite suddenly. Always more likely snap if they're driven by an idiot, but be warned. Though in general, cars this is one of the easiest F1 cars to drive in Automobilista. To drive anyway, they're all hard to master. We'll rabble with anyone who says differently, which means I'm going to be rabbling with someone now, aren't I? Yeah. Anyway. As a slight change with regards to the tracks that also came out in this update to the beta is that those grade 1 F1 tracks that I mentioned there in the game have all been updated to 2017 versions, which not really a huge change, of course. None of the tracks have changed layouts or anything like that. It's just adding the updated tyre rules to allow 3 compounds to be used, as has been the rule in F1 in recent years, as well as I think DRS zones they moved, even though I don't think they've really moved much from year to year. You know, we'll have to see. That has been announced yet. They don't typically announce changes to DRS zones until the week before the race. So maybe that'll get changed as we go on through the year and we see what F1 2017 has to offer for us. One more lap here. I pussied out of that. Essentially, if you want to get an idea of the potential of these cars, just add about 10 kilometers an hour to all my cornering speeds. Because they have the potential, but I do not have the skill to unlock the potential. You know, which is my main point about this car. Quite easy to drive, hard to master, as I proved by spinning out again. The tire is quite hot as well. Soft tire is not really meant for this, even if they are harder this year. And we'll spin it around there. Back onto the dirt. That'll be easy here because the tires are dirty. So yeah, this is the new Formula Ultimate, as they've called it. 2017 Formula 1 car, just making sure that Automobilista has every version of Formula 1 that you could ever want. Nearly everyone. And if you want any to guess the missing, you really are a true nerd, and congratulations. So anyway, if you got the beta, I would recommend giving it a go, even if modern F1 isn't your thing, just for the curiosity of it. I may have lost the front wing there, and the AI slowed down because that's another change that they've done. So yeah, that is that, and maybe I'll see you again in this car. Maybe I'll never drive it again. Who knows? We'll see.